Hello and welcome to part two, or take two, should I say. This is our first live author interview. It's my first interview of an author, and we're going to be finding out about April Woodard and her series, The Aeon Chronicles. She is a self-published author, and we're going to be picking her brain and finding out some juicy gossip about this book.
There we
We
go.
got it figured out.
Hi,
Took a
April.
minute. Hi, how are you, James?
I'm good, thank you.
Good. It's good to see you.
Yeah, you too, you too. I was just saying how at the end of last year, you was actually helping me with writing and being like a bit of a coach and, going over my work with me and stuff like that. You done fantastic at that as well.
Oh, well, you're a really good writer. So it was not like hard to read, and I'm really excited to read like the whole entire thing. I was like, wait, I need more. You're like, this is just, the few here. And I'm like, well, wait, I want to see what happens. It was getting tense.
To be fair, you read more than I think anyone else at that stage,
Oh,
like
really?
5, 6 chapters. So yeah.
Okay, nice. I feel better.
Yeah, exactly. But anyway, enough of me. We're here to talk about you and your journey in writing and the Aeon Chronicles. So, for anyone that doesn't know your work, tell us a bit about the book or the
Uh,
series.
Well, the first one's more, I tell everybody now, it's more of a prequel because it is totally different from the rest of the series. The next three books in the series are more of an urban fantasy, dystopian romance, and it's about soulmates. I kill everybody off in the first book and then bring them back just so they can find one another in the next book, the book two. And they do find one another.
Savage.
Yeah. Oh, I love killing off. I kill them off again. I kill everybody. So it's just
Very
it's
nice.
yeah. So they find each other and then they start kind of having flashbacks and memories of their life from before, and they're drawn to one another and they can't figure out why. And then there's this whole element of the end of the world, so they got to pick sides kind of thing. And so that was fun to write. um I don't I just always tell everybody is like, don't worry about book one, you don't have to read it, it's more of a companion novel.
Okay, that's interesting. That's
Yeah,
really cool.
because
Did
it's
you
like
did,
full on fantasy.
did you know that going into writing the first book
No,
though? No. Okay.
I realized it real quick though, because it's like you're in the real world in book two, three, and four. But in the first book, it's a completely different realm. It's almost like epic fantasy, which I'm not a big fan of writing or reading. So it was very, you could just tell I struggled through it. And being a debut author, that's what I tell everybody, don't feel bad about your first book. It's your first book. You're gonna
Yeah.
write more.
Yeah, absolutely. That's definitely the key. So, what was your inspiration for that series? How did that kind of like come to existence?
I actually had a dream about like this good girl versus this like boy that's like such a gray character, and he's like not really evil, but he's like just not the best, and like he sees good in her but he wants to be good. It's like that tortured soul kind of thing. And I was like, man, I could really make that something. And then it kind of turned into a love triangle. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to do it. So I actually had like a really like vivid dream about a scene and turned it into the series. And I was also inspired by the movie What Dreams May Come, because
Okay.
they go into the afterlife and he has to go get his wife out of hell. So I was like, that's cool. Yeah, so I really liked that, and the it was just really good imagery in that movie.
Oh, that's really interesting. That's really cool. Okay, so for new writers, what's your biggest tip?
Take breaks is my biggest tip, because I think a lot of us think that like we just have to keep going and push through when we feel like, oh, I can't think of anything, or I'm really stuck at this spot. Like just like take a week, a month, whatever you need to take off, and it's okay. If we're self-published, we have our own deadlines. I mean, it's you need
That's
to
very true.
kind of keep your deadline if you set like a publish date, but like don't stress yourself out, because people have families and kids, like and it's
Absolutely.
that needs to come first, obviously, but it's your career you're trying to get going. And yeah, just take breaks and don't sweat the small stuff. And yeah, just take your time, listen to feedback mostly. Like that's I know a lot of writers don't. You were so great about that, but a lot of writers I've met, they're just like, no, I'm not going to change anything. And I'm like, oh man, okay.
Feedback's so important though, isn't it? You know, like you can hand it out to like 10 people, and if like six of them are saying the same thing,
Right.
then there's obviously something there to consider.
Yeah, there's something there if like that many people are like, I don't know about this part. Because I had a whole chapter in book one, and I was like, I don't want to take it out. I'll have to rewrite so much stuff. They're like, it's not doing anything. I'm like,
Yeah,
so like I know people coming to that. They're like, but I wrote all this other stuff. He's gonna have to do more work
absolutely.
because that book will be done and then it'll be there and it's done. You know, I mean, self-published authors can go back and kind of retwerk some stuff, but it's
Too
not.
many times for me.
Yeah, yeah.
Absolutely. Okay, so self-publishing, as you mentioned it, I mean, being a self-published author, you have to wear so many hats. You literally have to do everything yourself, or it comes out of your own pocket when you're hiring other people. But what do you most enjoy about self-publishing, and what do you dread? What do you hate the most, if anything?
I've actually really enjoyed being on TikTok, and TikTok, if y'all are not on TikTok, you need to get on there. It's really interesting how people have just gone, I guess they say viral. Like I'll have a video that I'm like, I really don't think it's going to do anything, and it soars, and then I see people buying my books like crazy, and I'm like, what just happened? And that's the best word of mouth. Everybody's on that app.
Yeah,
And just you have to market, like you have to put yourself out there and find a creative way to do it that's not going to be boring to people, because people don't want to like just see you sit there and kind of vlog about your everyday thing. So you have to make it interesting. So marketing's been my favorite part, but it's also been like the bane of my existence because it's hard to keep up and it's hard to make time for it. But yeah, I would say marketing, and I know a lot of people have a hard time with that. So but
marketing. Well, that leads me on to my next question. What's your biggest advice when it comes to marketing? Because I think it doesn't matter whether you're traditional published or self-published, you yourself have to, advertise your book and, create awareness of it. So where do you think is the best place to start, or have you already answered that with TikTok?
I mean, you need to start where you're comfortable, but honestly, TikTok is billions of people are like on that app, and that's where just go to the app. Like TikTok might not be popular in a couple years, so you go to the next app that is. You want to jump on whatever is popular and taking off because that's where everybody's at. And yeah, I would say TikTok, but Instagram can work, but you have to do things a little different. TikTok's a little more relaxed, and you can just have fun and do stupid, silly videos.
Hmm.
You could do like artwork. So it's like you could do whatever you want on there, and it's not like Instagram where it's like everybody feels like everything has to look pretty or whatever, So, but yeah, just whichever app is the happening one at the time.
That makes sense. Yeah, follow the trend. I mean, I think 10 years ago, people might have recommended Facebook, for instance, as a
Yeah.
good platform. But, in the
What?
last 10 years, yeah, exactly. It's definitely not what it is then.
It's for people 50 and up now to talk about books.
Exactly.
And
Exactly.
Instagram is great, but it's more, I think people have kind of left there because it got kind of boring, I guess, and then very curated with photos and everybody feeling like they have to look a certain way. And TikTok, I think everybody loves it there because you don't have to, like, you can be yourself and people want to be your friend. And that's the cool part.
Absolutely. I would also recommend Twitter personally. I find that Twitter is a good place to update. Plenty of people looking to buy books or even just fellow authors. There's a ton, I'm on Twitter myself. There's a ton of authors on Twitter.
That's the best place to find writer friends. Like absolutely, like betas
Absolutely.
and, critique partners. That's where I found all mine years ago.
Fantastic.
Yeah, it really is. It's a lot harder to market like your actual books there, but yes, if you need like support, there's a slew of them.
Or just
Definitely.
info. People love to just retweet or just to,
Yeah.
put their 2 cents in.
Yeah, oh, they will. If you have a question or you need a critique or something, they're there for it.
Yeah. So when it comes to writing your book, planning your book out, is that what you do? Are you a architect or are you a gardener?
I'm kind of both. I really like to get out my index cards and write down every single like chapter that's possible. But say I get an index card that I have to leave blank. Like I don't know what that's going to be. So I'll do that. I'll just map out everything I know as far as like the storyline and the plot and try to get to know my characters the best I can. But I'll end up, digging around in the dirt quite a bit as I go and probably just change things around. I might have a blueprint and then throw the blueprint out. So it's whatever the characters tell me to do.
I like that. I like that. So when it comes to creating your characters, who's your favorite character you've ever written in your series? Who's the one you found like the most juicy information about, or just enjoyed planning out?
Avon Cray is definitely the most fun. He's the bad boy that I mentioned that kind of inspired everything. He's a tortured soul. He's haunted by a succubus. He wants to be good. He's got a history of trauma. He thinks he murdered somebody, actually 2 people. So he's just he's trying to get some redemption. And I find flawed characters the most like fun to write, just because I like, they feel more real. And so
you can relate to them, can't you?
Yeah, like, and you want to give them that happy ending. So it's like, how can I like get them there? Like, can I get them to make the right choice?
And when it comes to authors, I assume you're a reader as well. Who's your favorite author? Who kind of do you get inspiration from, or whose books you keep coming back to?
I really enjoy reading Marissa Meyer. One of my favorite books that she did is Heartless. It's actually like a fairy tale retelling of Alice in Wonderland, like the Queen of Hearts.
Oh, okay.
So it's like a villain backstory, and I really like that. I mean, I guess I have like this dark side of me or something where I'm like, I'm really interested in seeing like darkness in characters and seeing like how that.
Cool.
It's probably because I like villains because of I like to see how they became the way they became, like what made them the way they are.
Yeah.
So, but
that's interesting.
As far as inspiration, there was a lot. It's mostly movies and TV shows that have inspired me. Like I said, the movie What Dreams May Come. I didn't really like grab any like writing style from anybody or be inspired really by any particular books, because mine are just a different thing all in themselves. But when I go to write my next book, I do have some books that like Marissa Meyer is one of the ones I'm probably going to lean on as far as like how I'm going to be writing the next one.
Oh, okay. That's cool. That's cool. Okay, so big question. If you was going to create a movie using, your book in mind, who's going to be playing your characters?
Oh, I've got like a whole cast. I definitely have Chris Hemsworth as one of them, but he's getting a little too old. Ian Somerhalder, he's getting too old. I don't have one picked out for the girl. But yeah, Ian Somerhalder is, because he's like Damon from Vampire Diaries. He's just got this certain way.
I've seen that on TikTok. I've seen the TikToks, yeah.
Yeah, so he's just got this like feel about him and the smirk, and I was really inspired by his attitude and the way he carried himself. And I was like, what if I like could like really create a character that was like that, but he had a completely different story. Still tortured, but just like a completely, and it seems like a lot of readers are grabbing onto that, and they're like, oh my gosh, like I would read that because I like Damon Salvatore. Give me almost like a fan fiction, but not, because it's a completely different thing. But I think readers really enjoy that if it's something that like they've read before or something that they know, and then you can give them a comparison, only be like, but mine's different, because they really like that. So that's a good marketing tip over there too.
I like that. No, that's really cool. So what's next for you? What is on the horizon? Because I know that last year you were going into coaching, and obviously you've written the Aeon Chronicles. Are we going to expect another series, or are you going to continue with that?
I'm not doing another series for a while, man. That took everything out of me. I'll do a standalone. I've been working on a standalone King Midas retelling. That's why Marissa Meyer, I'm going to she's got like a Rumpelstiltskin, it's called Gilded. And I'm going to have a Rumpelstiltskin character in my book. It's not based on Rumpelstiltskin, but it's like a King Midas retelling, which King Midas isn't even really the focus. His son's going to be. But I'm really nervous to try to do this because it's like, forest village people against like the kingdom kind of thing. And almost like a Pocahontas, where there's that difference of like race and everything. And I know that's a big topic these days, but like where I want to go with it is like, in a good place, but it's just, so I'm like, maybe I should hold off on that and write my my sci-fi, my I don't know. So because I have a couple.
You have a sci-fi background?
I do. I have a Titanic meets Passengers.
Okay, that sounds exciting. I like that. That's kind of cool.
So I'm like, I'm waiting for Titanic to come back and be popular so I can just like send that one on out and start getting to it. But yeah, that one sounds like a lot of fun. I'd reverse the girl and guy role, of course, but yeah, so I've got a couple on the back burner. I just trying to figure out what's trending.
So is that a tip as well? You're going to try and write to the trend?
You have to yeah, I mean,
because I heard that, you know, like when I was starting out like 18 months ago, that was a thing going around. But then, of course, you have the upside of the argument where if you're not passionate about something, then it's hard to write about it.
Oh, it is. And that's why I just went ahead and wrote my series, because eventually, you know, this dystopian fallen angel thing might come back in style. And then there my books will be. So, yeah, I mean, I'm really all for people writing what they're passionate about, because it is going to be the best story they write. If you're not...
Absolutely.
You're not feeling it. I mean, like, you just can't, you're not going to feel the character's emotions. They're going to be dull, and everything's going to be very bland. It's very noticeable, I think, when I can tell like somebody's not feeling it. But yeah, I mean, people are making money doing like the Fae stuff right now. And I'm like,
yes,
I'm not writing a Fae. I'm not doing it. It's going to get old eventually, you know, because the vampire thing was a thing, and we'll have something.
I want the vampire thing to come back. I love the vampire thing.
Oh, I love vampire things too. Yeah, I'm surprised. I think was it Christoph wrote a vampire, and everybody really, and he writes really dark stuff. But yeah, I'm like, are vampires coming back? Because there's a lot of they're always, well, yeah, they're vampires.
Absolutely. Okay, so for anyone that has enjoyed this interview and want to follow your work, you know, either be it the Aeon Chronicles or the futuristic, you know, book you've got coming up next, how can the audience best get hold of you? Where should they be looking for you?
Definitely TikTok is where I'm the most prevalent right now, and posting every day. I'm going to try to get back on Instagram. They can always message me on Instagram. I'm not promoting my marketing, but if anybody needs me, could chat. I'm always up for like helping out and stuff. So, I mean, as like an author to an author or a writer to a writer. But yeah, I'm just trying to really market my books. My website at www.authoraprilm-woodard.com. I actually have a free PDF download of book 1, because I'm like, you guys don't even have to read it, but here it is for free. So
that's cool. That's very, very cool. And I can vouch for your coaching, and, you know, you've been so much help to me over last year, especially, and, you know, going through my manuscript, my, you know, disaster of the first manuscript. So yeah, anyone that's listening, you're too kind.
Not that bad. I enjoyed it thoroughly. Like, I knew you were getting the story. Like, I could feel the story coming in, and that's important, because sometimes I'll read somebody's manuscript and I'm like, I have no idea what's going on. Y'all have like way too many stuff in here.
But yeah, well, that's kind of the trick, though, isn't it? You know, getting it from your head so someone else can actually understand and see, you know, what your idea is.
I'm so glad you enjoyed my marketing. Yeah, I'll tell people the truth. I'm very honest, but I try to do it in a way that's, you know, not going to make them feel defeated, you know, so.
Absolutely. But sometimes tough love is good love, you know?
It is.
Thank you, Doki. Well, thank you so much for joining me, April. I really do appreciate it. And yeah, you guys heard it there. You know where it's best to get hold of her. So thank you very much.
Thanks for having me, James.
And there you go, guys. That was the interview between myself and April Woodard. And that's everything that she can tell you about the Aeon Chronicles. Of course, for a better understanding of this series, make sure you check it out. I'll make sure to include the links to her books and where she is on the social medias down in the description, either within my Instagram videos or, of course, over on the YouTube channel, The Critically Clueless Writes. But until next time, I'll catch you guys later. Thanks for joining me.